Hello ladies, so I have today for you the third installment for the Milk Cosmetics Modern Love collection. I've done 2 looks so far already. If you haven't watched them, I'll just pop pics here for you just so you can see what they are, and they'll be on my list of videos on my channel. So I've come up with this look today. Absolutely love it. Again, the palette is just beautiful. I've used every single colour in the palette. I've used the 2 gel liners and all the lip glosses except this one. So this is a dark grey colour. I'll just pop it on my hand for you to show you. And the only thing I can think of to put it over the top of is a black lipstick, which I don't wear very often, maybe Halloween. So that's it there. I hope you can see that. It's absolutely beautiful though. They all have glitter and shimmer particles in them, which is just gorgeous. I've popped Stupid Cupid over the top of my really light MAC Powder Kiss lipstick today. So if you like the look, don't forget to give me a like along the way and click that subscribe button just below, and we'll jump straight into the video. P. Louise base 01. It's quite light. Now it's not the 0, which is white. They have a white. The 2 is a bit more of a light pink. And of course they've got coloured bases as well, which I love to put under colour. Tapping that off with NARS 42 just to get it nice and smooth. It just takes off any excess that you don't need as well. You can see that's much smoother than it was with just the P. Louise brush. So going in with Modern Love, that dark dusty pink colour there on a Morphe 507. And once again just into the socket, just creating a circular shape. Now I was looking on Facebook last night and I saw a review of this palette. And there's a couple of ladies talking backwards and forwards about the kick up in the pan and the fact that the shimmers were just crumbly. Now I just want to show you the silver there. You can see little dents in the colour. The same with the other shimmers as well. There's little dents in the actual colours themselves. So when you go in to actually pick up the product, it does seem a little bit crumbly. But if you pick that product up on your brush and put it on a really good base and just pat that in, you're going to have no problem with fallout on your face. And then at the end, when you finish your eyeshadow, just pat it back into the shape, close the lid, put it somewhere flat so it's not going to be rolling around anywhere and losing colour and making a huge mess, and you've got no problem. I just have no problem with this palette and the formula at all. You can see even with my matte colours that I put in, I don't go in and blend straight away. I just go and pat the colour in and make sure it's in the right shape first before I do any blending. So you've really got that good colour payoff and opacity. And then of course, being on the P. Louise base, you can't get a better base than the P. Louise. And of course I don't set it. I just tap it off as you saw with the NARS 42, and the colour goes in perfectly. And once again for my hooded eyes ladies, when you relax your eyes down, you can see that flattens out there. So I like to go in and just relax my eyes down and round that off. I just prefer the shape to be a bit more rounded. I think everybody does. Alright, so the colour's pretty even on both sides. I'm just going to wipe that brush off on a towel on my desk and just go with a light hand right around the very edge and blend, just so you're diffusing that edge and getting it ready for your next colour so that it blends a little bit easier. The circular motions all the way around. And I'm trying to stay in that shape that I've created, and I always go back in and actually intensify that just back from the blend again as well. because you do lose colour or intensity when you blend. So you can see the difference between that one and that one. It's just slightly blended on the edges. Alright, so here I'm going back in with that 507 and actually popping that colour back in, just back from that blend, just to intensify it more. And so you get a nice gradient from the really intense colour just here and blend it out. So I'm really going into the socket area of my eye. You can see me pushing it in there into the socket. Now I do have to go up so high with this crease colour, as you know if you've watched any of my videos, I've got extremely hooded eyes. I mean, look at that. That's about the worst you can get. So I do concentrate in the socket, and I do have to go above the socket with that blend, or when I first put that colour in. So I'm going in with pink leather, that light beautiful pink. Oh, I adore that colour. I'm just wiping my brush off on a towel. I'm just going to place that colour in first up, right around the edge of that blend. That's such a pretty pink. Alright, and then just going around the edge of that colour. Now I've changed my angle of my brush to sort of spread the brush out so I can get a nice blend right up to my eyebrow. And then I'm going to go in with the NARS 42 right over the edge where the darker Modern Love colour meets the pink leather. So I'm going backwards and forwards, I'm pushing the colour along a little. And this is a very, very soft brush, and it just blends like a dream, everything like a dream. And then just going back in once more and just intensifying the Modern Love colour. So you can see I'm not going right up near that blend, anywhere near it. Okay, so I'm going in with the rose gold gel liner that comes with this collection. It's absolutely gorgeous on a MAC 242. So I'm just going to dip into it and just put a little bit on my hand and make sure I saturate the brush and the tip in particular. I'm not going to clean up the lid today. The colours I'm going to be putting on are very, very similar to that Modern Love colour, so I don't have to worry. So I'm going to go in and cut that with this beautiful gel liner. It's gorgeous. So pushing in with the tip and pulling down. Look at this colour. It's just divine. So I'm going straight in over the top of that now with Ruby Spa. Now this is the only colour left in the palette that I haven't actually used. So I really want to use it. I'll just show you the colour on my finger. Gorgeous. So I'm using a MAC 239, and I want to go in and just pack that colour in the inner corner and then the outer corner as well. And then I do like to get, this little brush is a two-faced liner brush, so I like to pack that colour on that brush and get right up close to that line, so it's quite opaque up there as well as on the lid. And I've left this colour to last, but I'm thinking that it's actually one of my favourite colours from this palette. It's gorgeous. So I'm going to do the same thing on the outer corner here and just pack that right up to that cut line. So Mixed Emotions is the next colour, so that's a beautiful pink shimmer there. And I'm just going to flip my brush to the other side, so the 239 again, And I'm just going to pack that colour in the middle. I so wish I didn't have texture in my eyes and wrinkles. Same again, just wiping that Too Faced brush off, dipping into that colour and just going right up near that line there. Then I'm just going to take a mixture of both of those shimmers and just go over the line where the two colours meet. So first up I'm going in with the darker shimmer that I put on the outer edge here. And then I'm going to go into the lighter shimmer and drag that across. And then let's have some real fun. So I'm going to go into glitter glue from Too Faced, a little bit on my hand, and then just tapping into that with my finger, straight down the middle. If you want to, just grab that little liner brush, a little bit more precise placement. And then I'm going to pop into Moon Glow, which is the silver. See what happens. Just tap a little bit right up the center there. Then you can go back into mixed emotions and just bring that over to the silver slightly. Okay, so I've done the rest of my makeup, so I'm going to go into the bottom lash line. I'm going to pop that gel liner in the waterline. I popped Marc Jacobs Blacker as always in my tight line. I'm going straight into that pink shimmer, which is called Ruby Spa, and set that. A little bit of Modern Love on a Zoeva smudge brush, just underneath. And then I'm just going to blend that out with the pink leather. I'm just meeting up on the outside edge here. And I'm just going in with some MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash, just for the bottom lash line. So before I went in with some MAC Powder Kiss in Best of Me. It's very, very light, as you can see. And then I'm going to go across the top of that with this lip gloss that's in the collection. This one's called Stupid Cupid, so I haven't used this one yet in any of my looks. Oh, a lot of silver glitter. Oh. Just wiping that off before I put it back in the tube. I reckon they could have possibly had a little bit more glitter in it, to be honest. But nevertheless, it's beautiful. They're all beautiful. Can you see the little particles of glitter in there? Nice. Alrighty guys, so that's my third and final look for the Modern Love collection. Now I don't think I've done 3 looks with one palette before ever. So that's showing you how much I do actually love that palette. Like I said earlier, it can get a little, like it is a little bit messy. Like look at that, it is a bit messy. But just pack that colour right back in, the shimmer colours, and put it horizontal in your makeup tray and it'll be fine to go next time. Alright, so if you liked my look today, don't forget to give me a like, a big thumbs up and subscribe. Just click the subscribe button just below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!